to you.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us for another conversation with Carl and Latonya.
Yes.
I'm Carl Gilliard.
I'm Latonya Gilliard. I said it first.
Okay, so the topic for today's conversation is blended families and calling this the blend. I want to start off with a disclaimer because us doing these conversations, invariably somebody who has been in our lives see us as either attacking them or attacking someone they know because they know us and they know the people we've been involved with.
Right.
Let me just say that unfortunately in these conversations, we can't be helpful. We can't have these conversations without talking about our personal experiences. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, it is our journey. How the things we've gone through has affected us and our take on them from our points of view. It is in no way an indictment on anybody, not a disparagement on anybody. Is disparagement a word?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But I mean, just because we don't mention anyone's names, we don't want you to go and try to assume who we're talking about because we've had a myriad of experiences.
And it's also people who've talked to us about these experiences too. So it's their take, friends' take on these subjects, as well as our own experience, and we have a take on that we share with you, but it's not at all.
And we want to talk about this, but this was also a request from you.
And we can't talk about it without talking about what we've been through. Yeah. And the people who have come to me with these concerns, I thank you for that because it gives us an opportunity to build a bridge to understanding, right?
Right.
All right, so let's talk about blended families. I want to talk about it from the kid's perspective because in my mind, when I've been involved in this situation, it's about the kid. And the kids, their security in terms of even down to their diet, their school, their family, in terms of their father, in my case, the kid's father or mother, and creating an environment where they feel comfortable and safe to be who they are and to grow up and be kids until they're no longer kids anymore. Right. So that includes embracing the other parent. That includes embracing their family. That includes creating an environment where they aren't being favored over, let's say, my kids. And that's what it's about. And by the way, even to that degree, I have 2 kids that were born from my loins. And it's not reasonable for me to think that when another kid comes into my home, that I'm not going to naturally feel more favored toward my own kid. That's true for anybody. But the key again here is to know yourself and to know when that's rearing yourself up. Right. And to remember when you got married to that person that you placed that kid's welfare first. So you have to know, okay, now I'm feeling some favoritism for my own kids, and I can't do that. So it's an actual volitional choice to not do that for the sake of all the kids. Mm-hmm. So I saw Jada Pinkett Smith on Oprah show a long, long time ago. Yeah. And she really impressed me with her take on blending families. And she was talking about how she was going to integrate herself into the life of her stepson, Trey. That's his name? Mm-hmm. His mother. Right. So she actually ingratiated herself to Cherie, which is the mother's name, to help Trey feel that he was a part of Jada's family and that he felt comfortable. Right. This is a very difficult thing to do, especially when you start talking about, baby mama drama and all the different colloquialisms that we have in society. Yeah. And it gets us out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, it does.
But again, remembering that the kid is the most important. So my whole thing is, from a personal responsibility standpoint, if you cannot do that, don't marry. Just stay single. Yeah. Keep your kid to yourself. Raise a kid your way. Yeah. And you'll be fine. Don't marry somebody and they have kids with the intention of protecting your own at the expense of the other. That is not a good look.
And even if you marry someone with kids and you don't have children, you gotta be honest with yourself. Can you give this child unconditional love like they were your own? You have to. Because the child will know it, and it will create a very bad family dynamic. Just totally bad way to start. So the whole thing, don't go into a marriage or even a serious relationship leading to it with anyone who has kids and you can't work it out. You've got to be able to work it out, but you got to be able to feel it too. I'm a stepmom. Don't use that word too much, but in my case, in my experience, I had 2 come in with 2 different mothers. And it was not easy. It was not easy. In my particular case, I had one mother that was easy to get along with and one who was not. And the thing was, I don't know. I don't know. And I knew what I was getting into. My back in my hometown, my pastor's wife, she asked me, she said, you know what you're getting into. Mm-hmm. Are you sure that you can go into this with these children and love them unconditionally? And I looked at it and I said, yeah, I can. I can. And so I was honest about that because that's one thing I just don't play with. I have a huge family, a lot of cousins and stuff like that. And so I knew what I could deal with and what I couldn't deal with. And hadn't even thought about having kids of my own yet. And so it was okay. I mean, you go through things, you learn people. The kids are totally innocent in every bit of it, every bit of it. And that's what you have to remember. As a woman, if you are marrying a man that has children, listen to me, ladies. If you're interested in a man that has children, first of all, you have to know that those kids, if they're a big part of his life, if they're in his life, I'm not talking about children who he probably sees once in a blue moon, and even in that case, when they come into your space, you have to treat them kindly and with love. Seriously, you can't be like, well, I'll be glad when this child is gone, I mean, it can be a bad situation with the mothers, the baby mamas.
Right, and that's a good point because no matter how bad, whether it be passive aggressivity, whether it be aggressive aggressivity with the other mother, the baby's mama, so to speak, mm-hmm. when you deal with the deal you have with your husband regarding his children, in the case of a mother, okay, mm-hmm. and you have a united front, the kid will pick up on the mother who's acting out of character. Mm-hmm. The key is when that kid comes into your home, that they feel loved and secure. Because right. even if the mother's acting out, that's still their mother. Right. And they still love their mother. So you have to still create the environment in your home where they're safe and then let the mother do their thing. Because I guarantee you over time, the mother who's acting up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what I had to do.
Can't hide from it.
And granted, I know it's not easy. It's not easy looking at a child that's coming into your home and the mother is making it hard, making it difficult. Send the child with no clothes. And then you got to struggle to try to either get clothes or keep washing clothes, stuff like that. Women can be very bitter and vindictive about situations. But when you are in that situation, you have to remember the children probably don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. They don't. They're just innocent pawns in a situation like that. So you have to keep it that way. You have to keep those children as innocent as possible. You talk to the father and saying like this baby mama did this or whatever, you can't say that around the kids. Right. You can't let them hear it. You can't let them feel it. If you're mad and upset about something, you just need to leave. Get yourself some space and get cleared. But in my situation, what I had to do, I even had one of the kids come live with us. But we talked about it first. Mm-hmm. And my stepson, he was just wonderful. I know he was definitely in my heart. He was. I loved him, still do. He stayed with us and it was just like I just had another child. Right. He was older, which, made it easier sometimes because, our kids had somebody to play with. Big brother was there and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. He respected me because I respected him. And it takes time sometimes. I mean,
you especially
have to build up those
sometimes because you're the adult. The kid is not going to always act the way you want them to act. They may have issues with the fact that you got married.
He had to get used to me.
Exactly. But you have to lead the way. The parent and the adult must lead, and you must lead as a united front and mature. Right.
Yeah. Right. And he got used to me, and because I loved on him, I treated him just like I did my kids. He started eating up all the food. I was like, no. And I used to have to hide stuff from him. And I'd be like, oh, Evan's here. We got to hide the ginger snaps, And he knew that. And we made a game out of it. He started looking for him, He's like, oh, come on. I know it's some here. And our relationship grew to the point where he loved me and he would tell me. And he would start to call me mom, which I did not try to get him to do at all. But that's what you want to go for. You want to begin to create a relationship with those kids, despite the mothers, despite what's happening, even with my stepdaughter later, she started to realize like, okay, well, she's not trying to be my mom. Right. though I loved her and I treated her as such. And you just have to make it that way. Mm-hmm. Now, I've seen ladies put demands on the father. Mm-hmm. You know, your children come over here, they need to do this, they need to do that. Well, first of all, if the children aren't feeling you, okay, you may have to powwow with the other parent and your husband, you know, I'm speaking as a mom, and try to work some things out. You have to, mm-hmm. all right? You can't be nasty to the kids. I swear you can't do that.
Every single
time. You cannot be nasty to the kids. And because I guarantee you're going to create situations where you're nasty to your step kid and not your own kid. Mm-hmm. And see, that stuff that's mean. That's mean-spirited. That doesn't work. You put the father in a bad position and you put the kids in a bad position, okay? So what you also cannot do as a mother is pit you against your relationship with your husband against your husband's relationship and his kids, okay? Those kids were there first. They were there first. And yeah, I know, you know, you're supposed to cleave to your wife and all this stuff, but let me tell you something. If you are stupid enough to try to put a situation where it's either me or your kids, you are wrong. You are dead wrong. That is not love, first of all. That's not unconditional. That means you are a conditionally loving person, first of all. Second, why would you split up a father-child relationship? It's hard enough out here nowadays, and kids have a father missing. Why would you even want to be the cause of that? Because of your own security.
Let me jump in on that for a second, okay? Because a lot of times, I know I have lots of female friends who are single mothers, and I know of women who have absent fathers purely because the man wasn't man enough to stand up to the wife, thereby leaving that child with no father throughout her entire life. And we always talk about daddy issues and blame women like it's their fault. Well, see, there's a lot of men who are stepping to the plate because of the ripple effect from subsequent relationships with a new wife or a new girlfriend where they don't even allow that man to have a relationship with these kids. And this is a ripple effect. It's a generational problem in our communities that's now extending into white folks too. This is just a societal problem. Yeah. So that's what we think it's important to talk about it today. So
yeah, and I'm speaking on that part for the mother, but I can say for you fathers who marry someone who's not the mother of your children, if she ever tries to pit you against your children to the point where she doesn't want you to see them or have a relationship with them, how do you think she's going to eventually treat you?
And that is the fact. So with that, we're going to get out of it. We cover everything?
Yeah. And I just said, never leave the children out. Never leave a child feeling like they're not loved.
And at the end of the day, know yourself. There's nothing wrong with saying to yourself, I cannot do this. I cannot embrace the mother. I can't parent someone else's children like my own. Just be honest about that and say no. I know lots of dudes, as a matter of fact, and it pisses off some women who they don't want to deal with someone's kids. And they say to the woman, you know what, I like you, I dig you, you're wonderful, but, I don't want to be a parent to your child. Thank that man for being honest with you.
That's right.
You thank him and wash his feet. Because he's doing something, he's doing you a favor. You know what I'm saying? And I think that women, I know I would appreciate it if a woman I was dating said, in fact I did. There was a woman I was dating when I was single a long time ago, and she told me that, you know what, I can't be a parent to your children. And I so appreciate it. And we stayed friends for years over that because of her honesty.
Right.
I mean, I felt rejected. I mean, she was cute. Yeah. But I thanked her.
That's right, because she would have turned into God knows what.
She was truthful.
Yeah, she was honest. She knew herself.
Right. And that's all that we're talking about.
You got to be honest.
There's no wrong answer except for when you enter into a situation and then try to maneuver it for your benefit.
Right.
With kids, that you can't do it in marriage, but you certainly shouldn't do it with children. Right. So on that note, we should be out.
Right.
Right?
You have to remember, final note, unfortunately, spouses come and go, but your children will be with you forever.
Ain't no spouses coming and going. I ain't going nowhere.
Oh,
okay. That's The Blend. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carl Gilliard with another conversation with Carl and Latonya. Yes. I'm Carl Gilliard. Peace. Two fingers.
Bye. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye. See ya.